Welcome students. So let us start with the SQL. So children, let me just switch to my database that was Sunbeam, and let me see the tables, that is show tables, and these are the tables inside my the database, that is Sunbeam. Now I have created some other tables also, and we are going to work with the student table. So let me just quickly see the data into the student table. So children, this is the data that I have in the student table, and what I have done over here is I have entered some few more records in this particular table, and the roll number that I have kept for the first record was 1, the name, class, and the section. And for the next record, what I have done is there is no class and section. I did not provide any foreign keys. Okay, and so I've just given some kind of data in this particular table, and let me just show you the class table. So this is the class table, and we have three different types of class, that is class 8, class 11, and class 12. And if you see the data from section, so I have around A, B, C, and D. So four records we have with the four different sections, and that is A, B, C, and D. So this is the data that I have. Now how would I display the data in a format where I can see which student belongs to which section? So how will I do that? So I need to select, that is student dot name, comma, then class dot name, and then section dot name. So these are the three columns that I need to display, because I want the students, their class, and their section. Then I will say from student, class, section, and then I will apply the condition where, and the where condition will be, it will be, that is student dot class id is equal to class dot id. Okay, so what we have to do is, this is the class id, this one. So it should match this id, that is the class id, which is a foreign key. It should match with the id, which is a primary key out here, and this is what exactly I'm doing. And student dot section id should be equal to section dot id. Okay, and this is going to give us the answer, that is the name, class, and the section. uh, Now the headings, as you can see, this is name, but this is also name because that's the name of the column that I had kept. So what we can do over here is student dot name and then class dot name, and just give some, I'll just type that again, and over here I have to give this like class as class, section dot name as section. Okay, and then I can apply the, okay, just a minute. Okay, I'll just do it one more time, that is class dot name as class, and section dot name as section, and then I will apply the condition, that is where student dot class id should be equal to class dot id, and student dot section id should be equal to section dot id. And now you can see that we have just given some another name to that particular column. So now we have name, class and section, but practically the actual name of the column for the class and the section is also name. Okay, but then this is how we can just come up with the output that we require. So this is how we can do it, children, and we have only one record, and the reason for this was because there was only one record. There was only a record that is with the roll number name, roll number 1, name was Ajay, class was 1, section was 1. So these were the two foreign keys, and since the other keys are null, so it did not show that particular, that particular record, because only the records that will satisfy these conditions, where the student dot class id will be equal to class dot id and the student dot section id will be equal to the section dot id, only that particular records will be shown, and that is the reason we have this particular output. Okay, and another way of doing this query is, I'll just going to show an another way, and it is select, and I will say student dot name. Okay, and student dot name, let me give a comma, and let me come to the next line, and I will say um, class dot name as, okay, class dot name as, that is class, and then I will say section dot name as section. Okay, and then I will say, okay, then I will say from student, and then I will be using the actual format, that is inner join, with class on, and then I will say student dot class id should be equal to class dot id. Okay, and one more I require, that is inner join, that is section on student dot section id. Student dot section id should be equal to section dot id, and this is going to give us the same result, children, but this is the actual format, but you can do it this way also, much easier way, but this is the actual format, the syntax, because that's the inner join basically. So when we work with joins, then you have to use this particular syntax and these particular clauses. So I'm going to work with some other joins as well. So right now what we have done is we have used the inner join. So inner join is basically the join which will display all the records that intersect between the two tables, right? So right now there is only one particular record. Okay, so what I said was that will display all the records that intersect between the two tables, and as you can see there is only one record that intersects with the two table between the two tables, right? Because there is only one particular record, that is the first record, which is common between the two tables, and these are the foreign keys which are present in the class and the section as a primary key. Okay, that's 1 and 1. And then we do not have any other foreign keys out here which matches with the primary key of the table, that is class and section. So there is only one record which is common between these tables basically. So, and that is the reason we have this particular output. So if this would have been only with one particular class, if you are really just matching the foreign key and the primary key with only class, so you will only write inner join class on student.class id is equal to class.id, and then there is no require for the last line. Okay, so this is how you can do it. Now there are other joins also, children. Let me just quickly run through a slide. So this was the inner join that we just did, and as you can see that there are two tables, that is table A and table B, and this particular highlighted blue color portion between these two, which is the intersection, so it is going to display only those records. Okay, let's move forward, and this is the left join. So left join is going to display all the records that we have in A basically. Okay, and there might be few records which also intersect with B. Okay, so B is going to have that intersected part also. Okay, so basically it is going to display all the records that we have in A, and for all the records that basically intersect with B, it is going to show some null values. I'm just going to show how this is going to look like. The syntax is that is select table 1 and then table 2. So select all the columns from table 1 and table 2 that you require, and then from table 1, and in place of inner join you have to use the left join. That's the only difference. Okay, so let me just quickly run a query for this, and okay, so this was okay. I will write a fresh query. So I will say select and student dot name and comma class dot name. So I'm just going to take two tables just to keep things simple, and so that you can easily understand this. So student dot name comma class dot name as class. I've just given another name to that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say from student. Okay, from student, and then left join. So left join means it will be student, because that's the first table that I specified, that is student dot name from student. So this is the this will be my left, that is the student table. So left join, and then I will say left join class. Okay, on student dot class id is equal to class dot id. So that's the left join, and you can see the output. Now what output it had shown us, that was all the records that we have in student, that is the A table. So you can see that we had total, how many? We had total 4 records, isn't it? Total 4 records, and these were the names of the students. So it displayed all the records that we had in student. Okay, but then for the uh, you know for the class, there was only one foreign key that was matching. There was only one foreign key in the table, that is student, that was matching with the table class. So that was the only class that it had shown, and for the rest of the things it has showed the null value. So this is the left join. So if you just see this particular figure, so it is exactly the same. So it is showing all the records that we have in A. Similarly, we have something called as right join. Okay, now let us see how this is going to work like. So right join is going to display all the records that we have in B and also those records with which intersect with A. Okay, so let me just quickly run through this. So the syntax is same, just at the place of left we are going to write the word that is right. So let me just work through this, children, and so I will say select student dot name comma class dot name as class, and then I had this one from student, and then at the place of left I'm going to write that is the word that is a right join, and now I'll press enter, and now you can see we have only three records. Now why did we had only three records? And you can see the class, it is showing all the classes, but for the name it is only showing the first name, that is Ajay, and there are only three records. And the reason that we have only three records is because we have only three records in the class table, and these are the records that we have in the class table. And you can see that it has shown all the names of the class, but for the student it has only displayed name, and rest of the two will be null because there is no no foreign key and primary key reference basically. Okay, so this is the right join, and before that we have learned about the left join, and then comes the left join, and there is something called as full outer join. So basically this is a kind of a merge. Okay, let us work with this. So syntax is that you have to select all the columns name from table 1, the outer join table 2. So we have to just replace the left join as full outer join. So let us run this particular query. So I will take, that is this one, select student dot name comma class dot name as class, and then comes this, and over here I'm going to say that is full outer join, and there is some kind of error. Okay, that is full outer join. Let me just quickly, okay, full outer join class. Let me just check the syntax. Okay, so this was the first, and this was the second. Just a minute, children. So this is inner join, and this one from left join. Let me just say full join. Student, that is full join from student. Okay, let me try one more. So student full outer join. Okay, let me just give. So table 1 dot column. Okay, everything looks good. Full outer table on. So this was the first, and full this outer join from student full outer join. Let me just check this syntax, children. So from student outer join full join. Okay, so it is saying select a student dot name as a student. There is some syntax problem, children. Just a minute. Student, then class dot name as class from student, and full outer join. Maybe there is some kind of, okay, the syntax that we are not getting it. Let me try one more time, otherwise it's okay. So how this is going to work, I'm going to show you with this student dot full outer join, and then class, then student dot class id should be equal to class dot id. Okay, so select student dot name as student, class dot name as class from student, and full join. There is some SQL version of the right syntax to near. Okay, let me see one more time. That is select columns from table 1 full outer join table 2. This is what we did. So from student full outer join class. Okay, I did not give on. Just a minute. Full outer join, full outer join class on student dot. Okay, but this, let me just check the syntax, children. And the syntax is outer join. Select name. I will try few different things. Full join class on. Okay, let us see, children. I'm going to show you how to work with this. Maybe I'm just making some mistake with the full outer join syntax. So at least, okay, what we have learned today is the inner join, the left join, the right join. So these are the most important join, and out of all these, normally we use the inner join. Okay, and with the last join, okay, I will just check with the syntax, and then maybe tomorrow I'll just show you how to work with this particular uh, full outer join. Okay, and so that's it, children, for today. So please practice it, and start solving the question papers. There are also a lot of videos of mine which I have put on the my channel, so you can go through all that, because I've solved so many other questions also. and or for SQL also I have done a lot of questions I have solved. So you can go through that as well, children, and keep practicing. And then after this we are going to start with you know connecting Python with MySQL. Okay, so that is also a very interesting topic. And tomorrow I'm going to show you with the full outer join. There is some problem with the syntax. Okay, so let us meet tomorrow, and then we will move further with the syllabus. And then maybe most probably next week we are going to start with the connectivity of Python to MySQL. So we are going to connect Python to MySQL, and using Python coding we are going to access the data from MySQL. So how to do that, even that we are going to learn. Okay, so that's it for today, children. Bye for now.